All right, let's give them one more round of applause as the guests come up. Hey, how are you? All right, welcome everyone, excited to be here. My name is Upton and I'm a journalist and content creator. I make videos for TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram about tech, money, and cultures. I'm based here in Dubai. Excited to be here today with all of you guys. So we're gonna be discussing why are crypto exchanges still flourishing? So with that, let's get a short introduction from each of you. If you could introduce yourselves, what you do, and we'll go on from there.
My name is Mohammed Khalifa. I'm the CEO of Garantics. We are one of the largest crypto exchanges out of Estonia and Russia. And now we're established in the United Arab Emirates and we're doing our business as per the regulators' requirement. I'm an ex-banker, a finance person, work with different banks. I have experience with a lot of financial structuring, family offices, and also worked with different companies like AIG. I was head of MENA. And I'm an ex-regulator. I used to work for the IFC. This is almost like a year ago. Because of Garantics, I had to leave the job itself. So therefore, the regulatory and the structure of the regulated requirement experience comes from when I was the vice president of the IFC.
Amazing, thank you. Let's go to Osama.
Hello, my name is Osama. I'm Group CTO of the IFX. So I started my career 10 years before as a software engineer. I was working in normal software industry. From last 7 years, I'm in the blockchain industry. I have worked in many blockchain projects. One of the best is the DIFX. And we are creating a DIFX project or DIFX exchange, which actually user needs, like what all the, as a trader, I have faced so many issues and we face so many problems also. That's what we are trying to solve in DIFX. Thank you.
Wonderful. Andy.
Hey, hi everyone, I'm Andy Lian from Singapore. I'm chairman of BigONE Exchange. We are registered in Netherlands, top 40 globally on CoinMarketCap. I am also the chief digital advisor to Mongolia. Today I'm here as a council member to Kishu Inu. And then of course, I have many other hats. You know, I was the blockchain advisor to 22 countries as part of the productivity organization. And then last but not least, we also own a fund registered in Singapore, currently at 500 million AUM. We invested in good projects, early projects, exchanges as well, like FTX, CoinBC, X, and so forth. So it's good to meet everybody.
Thank you for being here. Peter.
Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for having us here. My name is Peter. I'm the CEO of BigMarkets, which is a crypto exchange, a newly established crypto exchange, focusing mostly on providing the best strategies for trading environment for users. And I'm actually coming from Slovakia. I used to work as a financial analyst back in Slovakia in the one asset management company. So there's an experience in technical analysis, financial ratios, and stuff. And since 2017, I've been into crypto space, and also focusing more into the fintech industry. And we decided to just establish a new crypto exchange in 2019, which is now the BigMarkets. And I'm here to speak about today's topic. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a bonus.
Can't help it, but last ones always get the best sometimes. But my background is payments. I did payments and cryptos. I've been in the crypto space for 7 years now. Started my crypto journey with Huobi, the crypto exchange from China. Currently, I'm the founder of Encryptus, which is a regulated OTC desk, and the acting COO for LBank. LBank has been in business for over 7 years. We have over 7 million users globally. And the focus really for LBank is to go more local. We have been looking at building communities at a grassroots level. We are inviting best of the projects to come and be a part of the LBank success story. We have set up our operations here in Dubai and looking forward to get deeper into markets within Africa, Indian subcontinent, and of course, Turkey being one of the most favorable crypto markets. So that's what LBank is all about. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys for your introductions, and we will have time for audience questions in a little bit. So start to think of your questions, and we'll bring the mic around. But I want to dive in to this panel. So exchanges like Binance and FTX have had more than $1 billion just in profits last year. What are we going to see happen this year? And whoever wants to take it.
It's going to succeed that 100%. Especially with what's going on with the political situation right now in Europe and Russia. Definitely, it's going to be a big trading platform. All the exchanges that's going to be working, especially when the cash is related to that one. The solutions with the crypto exchanges or the crypto itself it's providing today is a big slap to the conventional banking. All the banks that are putting a lot of obstacles for the repatriation cash between the cross-border, that is happening, especially with different jurisdictions. Related to that, nationalities, the KYCs, which is related to, it's easier for anybody to go through an OTC system or a trusted platform in order to transfer their cash. Especially right now, we see a lot of cryptos that are fixed or pegged to the dollar or fixed against a fixed number of currency, where you are not volatile like a currency that is not there. So therefore, you can use a crypto similar that you're using a dollar that you're putting in a pocket and going to another market or another jurisdiction in order to use it. The nationalities, for example, we see a lot of countries today that are embargoed economically. We have Russia, we have Iran, we have Iraq, Syria, name them. And all of these people are going, it's multi-billion-dollar businesses that are being run over there. So what is the solution for them? Crypto provided that. So when there is a solution through the crypto itself and blockchain that is coming, why not the crypto exchanges? The size is going to be it's going to be huge, and I'm expecting 3 times what it was last year. Wow. It's because just what's going on for the political situation in Russia, and what we see here in UAE also, what the market cash from that. So this is a conventional banking, the businesses to grow.
Do you think, though, we're seeing more regulatory on crypto, right? Do you think that that's going to hinder some of this 3 times growth you're talking about?
It depends on where you're talking about this. If you're talking about the GCC, definitely not, because we see a lot of changes that are coming, especially with the news that came out yesterday that Binance has obtained the license from the only license from the Central Bank of Bahrain to be a crypto exchange. Over here in United Arab Emirates, we've got several licenses for that. We have, for example, from the DMCC, we have the OTC with the proprietary trading. We have multilateral license from ADGM, which is, again, a regulated license. It is from ADGM, which is a recognized international common English law jurisdiction with its own courts and its arbitration center. That means it allows the business to be regulated. Who's out of there? There are a lot of companies, the likes of BitOasis, they're capitalizing on this because they've got the, in principle approval right now. And there are many of them. You have companies like Swissquote, who've got the category 3A out of the IFC, which provides them the custodian services and execution services where they can do the crypto trading legally over here. And the custodian licensing itself, it allows them or helps them to open custodian accounts with several banks where they can have financial support for them and they can serve their clients. We have seen right now, which His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, who have signed off on the license of Dubai World Trade Center trading license, which was declared last year. Again, so we are seeing multiple type of licensing in relation with the crypto, the regulation that's coming, the different jurisdictions they're signing with the professional companies, the likes of Binance and the large companies, 1inch, and they're entering the market over here. They're partnering with the government bodies in order to that. This is in this region, but if we exit from the GCC, we are seeing different stories. And that is all because of the political driven and what is behind it, and depending on the system of the governments over there. Not getting into it in a political manner, but it's driven by the countries driving it politically on the political scene around the world. If we take an example, your country, United States, and Europe, Asia, and Africa. what are the different policies that they are implementing over there because of the contract, the binding contracts that they've got, the alliances that they've got with different powers that they've got over there. Different countries have got different alliances with the Central Bank of United States, especially with the taxation laws. Today we see India has got, they banned it, they banned crypto trading. They come back and they say it's allowed, but you need to be vetted for 33%. So different jurisdictions, different places, different regulations are coming back. But overall, crypto is going to be the future, and we are seeing it. We have seen now two African countries have adopted as a payment method. We have seen Venezuela, we have seen even Nepal. Who would have thought Nepal would become a country that accepts cryptocurrency as a payment method?
Agree, disagree?
I have my own view on how things are going to be like. Yeah. You know, we operated as an exchange since 2017 and invested in many. You know, number one, I think staying regulated is a very good thing, to be very honest. That's the reason why personally I invested and also invested my time, you know, giving advice to government. I think this is a very good to stay regulated. But the thing is, we have to also understand the other side of the things, which is innovation, right? If we kept ourselves in that sandbox or in that regulated environment, it will come a time where it will become the old centralized world that many of us, right in the beginning, 2012 and so forth, we were thinking that, you know, why are we talking about centralization? You know, we want to remove them, right? And then I think the fine balance between regulation and innovation is right now, you know. So all the good actors, all the good people, you know, on the stage, at the audiences, we have to understand, you know, why are we here? You know, is it because there is a chance for you to earn more money, you know? Or is it a chance where you can be part of a hype, you earn a few $1 million and you exit? That's not true. You know, people like Binance, FTX and so forth, they are all looking at long term. They invested in infrastructure, they invested in license, and most importantly, they invested in people. Not only their own staff, but also the community, right? So again, it comes to a point where we will ask ourselves, you know, is it better for an exchange to be located or have the legal entity in Seychelles versus Singapore versus South Korea, for example? It becomes a choice, you know, it becomes a choice where you want to be regulated and where your community is. You know, I totally disagree on things like, oh, because crypto is going to be, you know, reaching out to the unbanked, you know, there's a huge market and so forth. That's not true, because if the country is already not doing well, adding crypto in might just mess up everything, you know, and having it regulated could also be another problem. So some countries, I think, is more heavy on innovation. Some countries are more heavy on people, community. For example, we talk about Indonesia, Philippines, for example, there are tons of people, right? India, for example. And then some other countries which are more mature, for example, you know, like Singapore, Hong Kong, or the recent South Korea president, you know, which is very pro-crypto. Those places or those countries, well, they can go more heavy on the regulation part. So I think there is a good balance. And my concluding word is, I think there's still a lot of good money out to be made. It's not only about Binance or FTX or Bybit, for example. It's not like that. You know, if you, in your own jurisdiction, do well, create your own community, and be very truthful in the things that you are trying to operate, whether you are a meme coin or you are a layer 2, as long as you're being very truthful, you really want to run the project, there's sufficient money out in the market for you to grow. There's sufficient exchanges for you to be listed. You know, so it's going to be a long-term process, you know.
And also, Andy, I completely agree with what you just mentioned, because there's another very important aspect that the exchanges actually need to really consider, and that's education. Because still we have billions of people all over the world. A lot of people are trying to get into the hype of buying cryptocurrency without even understanding what they are buying or what they are getting into, what the project is all about. And actually, you asked $1 billion question about FTX and Binance, but also we have to really understand where the market is getting into. We look at last 3 months, it looks like it's more of a bear / consolidation stage we are at. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball to say what the future is going to be, but I think it really depends what would be the next move of Bitcoin really from here. If the price goes towards the bullish trend, of course, we would see the profit.
My personal opinion is that it depends country by country, regulation by regulation, jurisdiction by jurisdiction, and the most important thing is political derivatives and the acceptance in the world itself. Today, if you're going to say that United States, because an investment country, I agree with you 100%. If you're going to tell me GCC is a very high trading market for crypto, again, I'm going to agree with you. Two different opinions for two different jurisdictions, but this is because of the requirement of the place itself. I would like to that they offer different things in different weeks, but going to different countries, you find specialized meal for that. And McDonald's plays actually one of the biggest financial, is debating, and they're putting regulations to issue their own cryptocurrency. Taking an example, United Arab Emirates, in 2023, the central bank with the SAMA, which is from the Central Bank of Saudi Arabia, they're doing a coalition in order to create a cryptocurrency for the inter-border, cross-border, cash transfer for the trade and the business, the SMEs that they're working, including even the, corporate clients. Instead of using the conventional banking instrument, which the cost is very high, they will use this crypto, buy it, pay that small fee, get it done, get your business done over there. The structures where the central banks of United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia can work together.
But doesn't that sort of defeat the purpose of what crypto was originated for, is when you have central banks having such a big say in
any
value?
Any central bank, like a jealous wife, is very protective of its own, on its own currency. With all respect to our sisters here. So any central bank, the value of the country itself, it needs to protect the local currency itself against the other currencies and the baskets that they put inside, the backups that they put in that one. Saying that, future is inevitable, no matter you like it or not. It's like an electric car. 10 years ago, people were laughing at you why you're having even in in the United States, trying the Toyota, the Prius. It's a good car, you drive it, and everybody was making fun of it. Today, they are fighting, there is queues, and there are people who are waiting in line to get those cars. Tesla cannot compete with the orders with them. It's similar to the cryptocurrency. Because it's providing solutions, it's going to come. And it's inevitable that the regulatory authorities, irregardless, irrespective if it's a central bank or a licensing regulator, they have to adapt this for the future. Because it is enormous amount of cash, and the government needs to protect its own citizens against any kind of fraud that is happening. So therefore, they need to find regulations where it can be adapted to the local currency and the local economy.
I just want to add on again. I'm not sure how I should put this, but you will notice, there's a huge difference in terms of how we look at centralization, decentralization, innovation, and so forth. Yeah. But then if you really look at it right now, if we continue to think in this manner, which is solely towards the more regulated space, we are going into and back to the whole capitalism way of life, and it's all going back. If you notice right now, is 5 years ago, when I look at the audience, they're all young guys. I'm in my 40s, yeah? All young guys, 20s and so forth. Right now, at this current time, you will see very old uncles talking about NFTs, 60s, 70s, 80s, that kind of age. That kind of age, I think is good to give a very good mature understanding and sharing. But also at the same time, it is very disturbing, because we are losing the innovation part, and then if we lose the innovation part, there are a lot of other downstream issues that's going to come in. because right now, if you go back to the very early topic about, how exchanges are going to be like, new exchanges going to survive, is the limitation of withdrawal, going to work and so forth. Actually, all these things are a good balance in different countries, like the fine gentleman mentioned, it's a good balance. And the people on the ground, the grassroots and so forth, must try their very best to make sure that the things that they have proposed is going to be very sound. The government is going to listen to you and take very credible notes and find ways to execute them. Right now, it is lacking. And when I say it's lacking, there's a lot of downstream issues because a lot of these projects and a lot of these regulations are led by people who are not practitioners. They just talk. They don't really understand what exactly happened in the space. Why is there a restriction? I give you an example in places like Singapore, for example. There's no capital gain tax. There's no this, no that. But if you were to buy a Lamborghini and you pay your friend $2 million, do they accept it? Because he will be thinking, how is he going to cash it out? After cashing out into the bank, will there be other issues? Can they use underground money changer, for example? So there's a lot of downstream issues. And I think the additional layer of innovation is going to help. And I hope to see new blood coming in, not just creating projects that's going to last for 1-2 months and they are gone. I hope the young guys can come in to relook at the regulations and also the whole workflow of things. I have very good friends in India, for example. They really look very tightly on the tax. How they are very unhappy about tax and so forth. But the thing is, if you look at it from an outsider perspective, they should feel blessed because their government is accepting it. A lot of other governments are not accepting it. They are still in a very gray area, so forth and so on. So again, I want to say that in places like India, in South Korea, for example, they are putting innovation up front and also at the same time trying to protect all their people. So we hope to see more people, new people in this industry and not just come here for a while and then they leave, man.
Great. I would like to mention, like you mentioned, that Indian tax. Personally, I was the most happiest person when the Indian government did the tax, because my win is like the government bodies is now looking into that matter. That's a positive side. People used to think that's a very positive thing that government now itself is working, so people don't need to worry about that. That's a very good regulation side. Second option is, as you mentioned about the Ferrari, we need to build an ecosystem of the crypto that people can use crypto for the bottle of water, Lamborghini, or anything. So the problem comes when they try to cash out. And still, we are still in a struggling phase in all the crypto industries. We are building the ecosystem. Every project is innovation. Definitely, I would like to say that innovation is required. And the new innovation definitely is required. And still, to be honest, my mom is still talking about NFT. So she is a painter. So she definitely always talk about NFTs. And she learned about it and she teaches me new things about ERC-115. So she is techie also. But the thing is, now I see is a very positive thought, because now it doesn't matter the age, everyone try to understand, try to learn, and try to adopt the things. And the best thing is now on the crypto exchanges or any platform, the crypto, most users are between age of 14 or 25, very new age. So they are very quick to understand and all, not elder. So that is unexpected things is also coming. So that's very good positive things.
Yeah, sorry, just to add some few things, just some ideas. The time is running out. I think that crypto, to add something to this topic, why crypto exchanges still flourishing. Well, they need to flourish, and I hope they will be flourishing for the next couple of years. But definitely, they need to diversify. Like this is one of the important things that they have to do to diversify on different markets, as we have lots of countries, not lots of countries, but also like when we can take an example from some countries in South America that are already accepting crypto as a legal tender. Maybe the crypto exchange will not be that utilized, but they need to diversify actually from the markets where they can actually the users that can pay for this with the crypto, where they can actually pay for tokenized assets like stocks, for example. We have secret token exchanges already established. It's not a big market yet, but this is, I think, something that crypto exchanges should focus on and bring this market to the people where they can actually buy tokenized assets like stocks, bonds, ETFs or indices, and actually have the same rights as if they would buy the physical stocks or bonds. So this is something that I like. This is something, the idea that I'm also supporting, and I hope that all of the crypto exchanges will be providing this kind of possibilities and opportunities for the people and for the markets. Yeah.
So at this time, we'd like to open it up for Q&A. So yeah, if we can go, while she goes to the mic, if you want to. Okay, all right, so we're gonna have about 10 minutes for Q&A, so we have about time for 5 questions.
Hi, my name is Siddiq Muhammad. I'm the founder of European Digital University. See, the whole blockchain and the crypto come to unite and empower the entire humanity through decentralization of power and money. But what is happening now? It is happening against the principles of blockchain now, because the people are fighting each other for Bitcoin. Many people are fighting and killing each other. Many countries for Bitcoin, the improper sale and purchase of Bitcoin and all. It's happening everywhere, as all of you are aware. So my humble request to you, how can we take it to the masses? Right from the school levels, like a nursery class student can open a crypto wallet. Now a new world order system has to come. Even the children can start to make money through crypto, like it is happening in Canada, Europe, and America. It can happen in India, other countries. So this education about the crypto, blockchain, NFT has to spread across all the schools, colleges, universities across the world. That is my humble suggestion. So we request your support for that.
Actually, that's a very good point, and I don't know if you remember how I started. I think the first and foremost thing that is missing in this world is education, and I completely stand by what you say, because everybody's talking about big funders, big concepts, NFTs, CeFi, DeFi, like, a combination. And think about an average user. I mean, there are still, the majority of the population in the world is still unbanked, and we are talking about taking DeFi to masses. How would that happen? Until we solve the basics right, and the basics is education. And I completely agree with what you said, like crypto education, the blockchain education should be taken to the grassroots level. And then there is definitely a scope, like how people can get involved into cryptos is probably DeFi. It's very unfortunate that the speed at which this industry is growing, until 2020, we were mainly hearing predominantly about Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. But later 2020 and 21, we just saw how DeFi came into the picture, faded off. NFTs came in, now you have got a metaverse, you have got playing on a user, somebody who has been in this industry for 7 years. To be honest, I'm unable to catch up as to the way things are going. But there is no base, everybody is busy building, but nobody is really thinking, how do we go back and get the basics right? So just to on what you said, I completely stand by your point.
Thank you very much. Just to add on this, let me be a positive person. The simplest thing that we can do today, anybody, even any child is doing, is going to move out to the Google search and they'll search XYZ. Today we search, I would like to learn about crypto or crypto institutes, crypto establishments. You'll find abundance of them that are teaching you a lot. For us, our ages, let's take a look at that. What we have learned in our universities, today, it's 10 times more what our children are learning in the university. So, is crypto teaching going to come? It's definitely coming. How is it coming? It's coming through the back door, blockchain. Today, in United Arab Emirates, we have the Ministry of Artificial Intelligence. What is artificial intelligence built on? What does it need to expand? How does it can communicate between different departments? There where it's coming. The governments are taking positive steps toward educating the common person, the common student, the young aged person through the schools itself. I have seen for my daughter, this is a personal experience. My daughter now, she started her first year of university today. This year. But for the past 2 years in her entrepreneurship curriculum, she's learning about blockchain, finance, cryptocurrency, how the calculations are happening. And this year in the university, they are telling her about tokenomics. So education is there, it's coming. It's just, how can we get it? A simple initiative of a person that needs to move. Information is there on the internet. It's available in different search engines. If you have the will to go for it, definitely the information is there for you.
Actually, Mohammed, sorry, I'll just say something on this point. You're absolutely right. There is a lot of information, but the problem is, how do you filter the information? Like, what do you believe and what do you don't believe? Because I have been witnessing, so I don't know if there is anybody from Oxford University here, and I'm sorry if I say